Hello, folks. Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. Well, okay, we're just going to pull up the deck list. Ustinius from my Discord has dropped something spicy on us, and I am super excited about this one. So we are a Painter's Servant deck here, and we are going to be playing Nashi Mood Sage's Scion as a major part of this deck. So this has Ninjutsu 4, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of each player's library. Until end of turn, you may play one of those cards, and if you do, instead of paying its mana cost, you pay life equal to its mana value, rather than paying its mana cost. Does this sound familiar to you? This is a little different, but this has serious Ragavan energy, right? So we have a Rat Ninja that can come into play on turn 1 because we are a Dark Ritual deck, and it has the ability to super cheat on mana, as well as kind of snowball. And the ninjutsu ability is actually live in this deck because we are playing an effectively unblockable creature. Dauthi Voidwalker has Shadow as well as some other neat abilities, meaning that like we can realistically sneak that thing in. And the rest of the deck is just kind of like mono black combo goodness. We have the Leyline of the Void plus Helm of Obedience combo. Short version is that if you have both of those cards in play, when you activate Helm of Obedience for at least one, it mills out your opponent. Because this card is looking for things going to graveyard, and they never do. So like the Energizer Bunny, it just keeps going and going and going and going until your opponent has no cards. The other combo here is the Painter's Servant and Grindstone combo. You use Painter's Servant to turn all of the cards into a color of your choice, and then you activate a Grindstone. Because all the cards are the same color, they are always going to repeat for Grindstone. So we can mill people out with Helm of Obedience, we can mill people out with Grindstone, or we can go and like do this whole like Nashi mid-range thing. Of note, Dauthi Voidwalker also has a Leyline of the Void-esque effect, so like we can also get really cute with Helm of Obedience and that card as well, and grab our wins that way. Or we just be like an Urza Saga beatdown deck, just like turn 1 Saga, turn 2 Ancient Tomb, and get our wins that way. I like the deck building here. I hope it works because I'm super excited about it. As far as the sideboard goes, there's some interesting stuff going on here. So, in a very interesting twist of fate, there is a playset of Cabal Ritual in the sideboard of this deck. Now, I believe the rationale is when you gotta go fast, the additional rituals let you get to like 3 or 4 mana so you can get to your combo kills better. I don't know how frequently I'm going to board those in, but it's a really interesting thought, right? Because it lets you go like Swamp Lotus Petal into Nashi or something of that nature, right? Or get you to the 3 mana you need to get to a Grindstone activation or something. Like, for the times when some of your interaction isn't going to matter or something, it's a cool thought. There's also a set of Sudden Edicts and a bunch of Plague Engineers for creatures, and then a pile of Torpor Orbs, and all I'm asking is, which deck hurt you? Which deck hurt you so that you wanted to play 4 Torpor Orbs? And why was it Death and Taxes? Torpor Orb is a super potent sideboard card. It's not always good, but in the matchups where it is good, it's probably going to be a beating. A lot of times in decks of this nature, sideboard slots are going towards things like Graveyard Hate, but with our Graveyard Hate already being present in the main deck, you kind of get more like fuck around space in the sideboard where you can target some stuff. I don't know that I'm really sold on the Cabal Rituals, but I'm not sold on them enough to just like remove them before playing games. Like, it feels to me like those slots would probably be better used on something like, say, Opposition Agent, which is just another cripplingly good card to play off of Dark Ritual. But, like, I'm playing the Donor's deck as is because it's fucking sweet. All right, I think that's all I have to say here. If you're new here and you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing. And if you're a regular, please throw me a like before this video begins. Likes and comments are the easiest way to support my content for free. And as of like June 1st, I'm going to be going full-time content creator over the summer. So like the view count matters. All right, let's battle. I am looking at a weird hand here, folks. So I can go turn 1 Urza Saga, turn 2 Ancient Tomb, and like try to play an Urza Saga game backed by either single or double grief, or I can play things slower and like do a Dark Ritual grief on turn 2, followed by regular grief turn 3, and then like back Urza Saga up later. It's a super weird hand. Urza Saga is good. Let's do this and see where it goes. I think Urza Saga, backed by multiple griefs, is probably good enough to win a game. Okay, we're playing against elves. Opponent's hand's pretty good. We got the Cradle, so the Reclaimer is medium. The Glimpse is medium as of right now. The Grist is medium as of right now. Allosaurus Shepherd is the explicit win condition. I think I'm going to take that. There's also a world where I take Wirewood because it's the best against my Urza Saga Construct tokens. I don't think I want to leave them with a win condition. And I'm going to plan on doing Urza Saga make constructs and use a grief to ping something else out of my opponent's hand. Although, being honest, I'm not sure what yet. This is a matchup that I would like to win via the combo. I don't think my discard is great versus elves because they just have so many sources of card advantage, like the whole Glimpse of Nature thing. All right, we're getting movement from my opponent. They thought for a little while, so they had some real decision there. All right, I have drawn a Lotus Petal. That's kind of whatever as a draw. I think I'm still going to play it out in Ancient Tomb. Like, I could play it out and swamp Lotus Petal to activate this turn, but I think I just want my constructs to be as large as possible. I missed on my black card to do disgusting things this turn cycle. And just, like, grief again. I'm going to take a quick look at my Urza Saga targets. LED, Petal, Pithy Needle, Shadow Spear, Grindstone. Okay. Understood. You've got your Heritage Druid. Now you can go Cradle into... Oh, a Visionary. I really don't want my opponent to have that. That's so fucking bad for me. Now my opponent has access to 3 mana and Wirewood Bounce and replay. Oh, fuck. We're going now. Okay. I didn't think we were going to go now. Obviously, I'm wrong. That Heritage Druid plus Elvish Visionary combo there was very good. Alright, here's an untap. And then my opponent will redeploy the Heritage Druid. Get another card out of that. And that should be it, right? Because this is turn 2. They've played their land. They've activated Wirewood. And they're no, I'm not going to take another point of damage because I'll just make a construct. Alright, and we'll do end step to activate this bad boy. Get Grindstone. Play Painter. Loading mana. Play Painter, 1, 2, 3, activate Grindstone, get wrecked. Yep. Deck's good. Alright. There's Grindstone. There's land. There's Painter. Obviously, I'm going to paint it black. Now, the reason that I'm actually going to paint it black is, like, for an actual tactical reason. I already played my land drop. So I can grief, pitching a swamp, and just double check that the coast is clear. Okay, it's resolved. Okay, my opponent is evoking an Endurance. Alright, so this trigger resolves. Now my grief happens. Take some card from their hand. Let grief go to graveyard. And Grindstone you. Okay. That's their deck. They have also shown me their entire deck by doing this, so let's get a quick look. Right, there is Archon, there is Oof, there's a couple of Bosejus. Yeah, like, if you are in the spot that the Elves player was in, concede before your opponent gets to look at your entire deck. Just little bits of tactical advice. So now, notably, if I did not actually grief, I could have milled my opponent out, and then they could have enduranced and put all of their stuff back. So, like, the grief was absolutely relevant here. As far as the sideboard goes, I've got options. I very much like Plague Engineer. Torpor Orb is pretty reasonable for the Elvish Visionaries. I don't know how many of those I'm actually going to play. So, this is just probably not getting in the red zone in this matchup. Like, despite how much I want to do this, this is just, like, probably room for my Plague Engineers. And then my next question is, how much of this other stuff do I want? Because, like, Edicts are reasonable. Torpor Orbs are reasonable. Cabal Ritual to just combo off faster is reasonable as well, I think. Honestly, just like most of my cards seem reasonable. Maybe pitching cards to Grief is a bit much. My black cards are just good. What happens if I do this? Like, do I just want to Cabal Ritual to get to Helm and Plague Engineer faster? Not crazy. I don't know if I'm a hard enough control deck that I want a whole bunch of Sudden Edicts. It's kind of cool if my opponent plays Collector Oof. Actually, both of these combos being a little soft to Collector Oof probably makes me want to have more removal. Alright. Yeah, like use Plague Engineer to get rid of the Elves, Sudden Edicts to get rid of the other stuff. I buy it. I'll play a Miser's Cabal Ritual. How fast does this go off? 2 mana on turn 1 is either Painter or Dauthi Voidwalker, and then it will be quite a bit of mana from actually kind of doing the next thing, right? Yeah, I think I just mulligan this. No? No. Okay. How many is this? This is 5? This isn't great. This is probably the point where I start keeping a hand of some kind. But, this does not have a full combo of either kind. I don't think I want to go to 4. I'm 100% throwing back Shadow Spear, and then I throw back one of either Dark Ritual or LED. I think I'm going to throw back LED. Grab a Leyline here. Yeah. Oh, okay. I can make a Sudden Edict kind of cool. Yeah. Yeah. Alright. Dark Ritual. Thought sees you. Oh, there's no initial mana sources there. I'll be taking the Endurance. It's potentially the only castable spell in my opponent's hand that interacts with me, like, lucking into a combo. Alright, let's take Endurance. Sudden Edict away that Dryad Arbor. And now we are essentially playing a top deck war, where I have nothing and opponent has nothing. They need to draw lands, I need to draw action. Okay, they miss on their land drop. Hell yeah. Like, totally happy with that as a draw. It's not a win condition for me, but it will keep my opponent from getting anything super relevant. Thoughtseize now? Sure. Like, mostly just to use my black mana. Force of Vigor on the Leyline. Alright, sure. Alright, of the stuff that's here, what is the scariest? Probably the Wirewood. Like, the Wirewood is not an elf for if I draw Plague Engineer. The Green Sun is also, like, kind of scary, because that just immediately represents the second Dryad Arbor that's in the deck. Hell yeah. I mean, this is why I took Wirewood, right? Elf. Absolutely elf. And then I have a Sudden Edict for if they do Green Sun for Dryad Arbor. Alright, so, like, everyone knows Gaia's Cradle is a very busted land, right? However, there's a little asterisk there, where when you don't have, creatures in play, it does, jack shit. Okay, yeah, they've still got nothing. It's Plague Engineer time. And I have an entire combo kill in hand if I do draw more mana. I'm not there yet, but, like, I'm on the pathway. In case you're feeling like the opponent is getting super unlucky here, the Elves deck doesn't actually have that many starting, like, initial mana sources. It's just, like, not a thing that super exists in the deck. I'll knock my opponent to 14 here, and I'm going to go ahead and cast a Leyline of the Void with this Lotus Petal. The reason why I'm doing this rather than Helm is because this one requires double black symbols, whereas the Helm does not. Like, I can draw an Urza Saga and cast a Helm, whereas, like, the same is not true in the other direction. All right, let's hit for 2 again. Bring my opponent to 12. I will play out the Helm of Obedience and represent that combo kill next turn. If my opponent has another Force of Vigor, they have another Force of Vigor, but, like, I don't really give a shit. Oh, hey, opponent found a land. I suspect this is just too late. But I've been wrong before. There's a Birchlow Rangers that dies due to the Plague Engineer. Yeah, what a beating. What a beating. All right. Round 2 opening hand has just like turn 2 win if I were to happen to top deck a Grindstone. I can't cast this Dauthi Voidwalker, and I can't do anything with these ley lines, so this feels like a 5-card hand to me. I'm just gonna mulligan, given that I have multiple easy combos in this deck. Okay. This hand has a Painter, has a Grindstone in the form of Urza Saga, but does not have consistent mana to get me started. Hand's good if I draw a land, otherwise, like, the hand just falls apart. I will go to 5. I will keep a mediocre 5 in a lot of cases, though. Hey, there's a Painter and Grindstone, as well as a Leyline. Yep, this is easily the best hand so far. It's Leyline time. Alright. There's an Urza Saga. I'll play out Petal. I don't really see a need to play out the Painter immediately. Just like, I guess if I draw exactly Ancient Tomb? Yeah, I'm just going to play out the Grindstone instead. Oh, I'm like itching a Murktide Regent. Absolutely get fucked, Murktide Regent. No love for you. Please don't wasteland me. I have a family. Whew. Ah, nice 1-1. Alright, Thoughtseize is not great. Do I use this to cast a Painter now? I'm about to lose this Urza Saga as a more permanent mana source. I don't really love my situation, but I'm on like a pretty devastating mulligan, so I'm gonna go ahead and cast this into a Daze. If I had a persistent black source, like, things would be different here. Not blue. Everything's green. No, we'll paint it black again. We'll paint it black again, specifically for grief. Again, don't wasteland me. Family, we've been over it. Okay, yeah, that's fine, right? Like, I have to take some degree of risk this game because, like, my only mana source is disappearing. So I either, like, check with Thoughtseize and then, like, go super long this game, or, you know, I do what I did. Okay. Is it still Grindstone? I believe it is still Grindstone, by the fact that, like, Pithing Needle on Wasteland also sounds pretty sexy. I just want to put myself in a situation where, like, I have half of 2 different combos in play and my top decks are good. Like, this is not a real clock. Like, that is negligible amounts of damage. If a flipped Delver in play is much scarier than this, for example, we're not going to get a Murktide Regent into play. I have some real amount of time. When you have a Leyline in play, it's one of the rare times where, like, the Dragon Rage Channelers and the Murktides are just, like, so much worse than an actual factual Delver. Ooh, and did opponent Brainstorm lock themselves? No. Okay, yeah. Alright, we're chilling. Okay, there's the Delver. Now I've very potentially lost this one. Not 100%, but life's bad. Grr? Grief pitching a Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize is largely going to be off the table this game. There's a world where I wait to play this Grief until after I've drawn a land to play it around Daze, but I think I'm going to be so pinched on mana this game that getting a Daze out of the way now is reasonable, right? Because, like, my ideal 3-turn sequence is maybe, well, no, I guess I want basic Swamp. Yeah, I want, like, a basic Swamp into a Painter into another Dark Ritual or something like that. Yeah, I think I am just a punching bag this game, though. I take 4 more this turn, go to 9. Yeah, I'm not, like, technically dead, but doors are closing fast. Very fast. And I draw another Thoughtseize. I get attack for 4 down to 5. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and throw in the towel there. Okay. What do I want here? And I guess, like, am I playing the Rat Ninja in this matchup? It's something that diverts some of the attention for Lightning Bolts away from these cards. I don't think I want to 2-for-1 myself with Grief. I think the Sudden Edicts are easy replacements for those slots. I feel like I can probably go down 1 LED here. Plague Engineer is okay. I always like Plague Engineer versus Nashi. I guess the life total from Nashi is, like, real. Yeah, I still think I want some Plague Engineers. Okay. This is another Mana Light hand versus Delver, which is not where I want to be. I love the Leyline, but as we saw last time, like, Leyline alone is not a win. Let's mulligan and try to find something a little more fucking balanced. Hey! I'm keeping. I have Painter and Grindstone and Leyline and Urza Saga. I think Sudden Edict goes here because I have to use a Lotus Petal to play it. But, like, despite how good this looks on paper, I don't actually love this hand. Yes, I'll cast this now. Like, there's meltdown-based situations to think about where I don't actually want to do that, but I'm going to want that in play next turn, or if I cast Painter. When I cast Painter, question mark. Under's fine. Guess if I draw mana sources, there's also worlds where I just, like, try to play an Urza Saga beatdown game rather than Goldfish as quickly as possible with the combo. Especially true if I draw Ancient Tomb in particular. You can have your card. Helm. I want to make a Construct token this turn. And I can go for a combo kill next turn as well. I can make a Construct, have 2 mana, play Painter, get LED, activate Grindstone. Yeah, your Brainstorm's fine. Alright, yeah. Fetch to clear as expected. I'm not necessarily losing my whole board here or anything, which is nice. But I would not be surprised if my opponent can interact with me in some way. Alright, there's the Construct. There's another Grindstone. I think I just float mana with this one. I thought I was paying costs there for a second. They might have, like, a Lightning Bolt. Oh, I think I'm just grabbing the LED here. It does cute things. Alright, there's a Force of Will, junking a Force of Negation. If my opponent has a Lightning Bolt as well, this becomes pretty awkward for me. I'll attempt my 3 damage. Okay, they do have the Lightning Bolt as well. Alright, at this point, I'm going to set a stop on my upkeep and consider making an Urza Saga token in my upkeep. I'm not sure if I want to do that, because it requires discarding 2 cards. But I'm pretty unlikely to get to 4 mana for a Helm of Obedience in the short term. So it might be fine. What did that Ponder do? Oh, that's bad for me. Alright, my turn. Remove that stop then. Okay, I think I'm going to end up in a similar spot to last game, where, like, I just don't have real mana sources in play, and my opponent just gets to roll me. Maybe I don't play that out for Meltdown. Like, until I have something like an Urza Saga that wants me to have more artifacts in play, I can probably just hold that. Yeah, your Expressive Iteration is very good, but less scary than normal, because, like, Leyline is just chilling. Okay, there's a Delta. And what do you got with it? Yep, Brainstorm is fine. Opponents threw, like, a huge portion of their deck already in comparison to me. Alright, there's a Lotus Petal. Again, for Meltdown-based reasons, I think I'll just hold that. And now we're just, like, waiting to see if opponent has a threat. If they don't, it means they have interaction. Okay. I'll play out an Urza Saga. And honestly, I I still think I hold him. The next turn, Urza Saga, token. 1 power, 2 power, 3 power. Actually, maybe I do play out another, because then it's 4 power and plays around Lightning Bolt. This Lotus Petal disappears a huge portion of the time. Okay. Does absolutely make a Meltdown better for my opponent, though. I mean, they have to have something, right? They don't even have any 1/1s or anything over there, so is what it is. I'm gonna wait till I have a little more mana. I can technically, like, try to jam Helm this turn, but I want to at least play around Daze. Okay. Opponent has hardcast Force of Will mana at this point. I still think I want to play around Daze despite having a second one. Like, I would like to win the game when I cast this card. Okay. There is a real win condition. Guess I already play around Daze due to Lion's Eye Diamond. I don't really feel like I'm in a hurry here. Like, let's just kill that and draw some land. Goodbye. But, like, basic swamps would be cool. I think this is considerably worse than just going for the Helm combo on the resources that I'm currently operating on. Like, I'd rather have this as a backup plan for after a Helm of Obedience doesn't resolve. And I'm, like, trying to get to the mana for a second one. Dark Ritual that? I don't think I Dark Ritual Sudden Edict. I think I just, like, find another land, Sudden Edict. If the Delver flips. Delver does not flip. An opponent drew that card, meaning it's probably another Delver or Dragon Rage Channeler. Which I guess I'm fine with. Now, like, Plague Engineer, like, looks really good for this exact turn cycle, kind of. Boy, this mana is just, like, awkward, though. Like, this is the cost of playing Disappearing Lands. Urza Saga is awesome, but, not a perfect card. I'm gonna hold this for Meltdown-based reasons. The Delver's flip, I'm very scared. Fuck. Okay. This is all of a sudden a lot of pressure, and it's no longer just, like, super safe for me to hold everything back anymore. I'm at 13 here. Opponent has multiple good things going on. Alright. Is this the turn that I just go for it? Opponent has 7 cards. Feels like no. Like, going for it is Dark Ritual into Painter into LED activate. Yeah, I guess I'd rather wait a turn. But my whole plan of, like, trying to play patiently here instead of just jamming is, like, not working. Yeah, every cantrip is just horrifying here, though. Like, it's just one more set of things that help fix their, like, net they're in, so that they're just better at answering every way that I can wiggle. I just draw a swamp and can, like, Sudden Edict a Delver out of play. Maybe I'm okay. But I think one way or another, I probably have to use a spell on my turn. Otherwise, I'm just, like, dead to a Lightning Bolt if I don't attempt anything. Thoughtseize. Alright. I will start with Dark Ritual, and if it gets countered, I'm effectively dead. As a Force of Negation, I take 6 damage here, and then I don't think... Well, okay, I do technically have one out. I can technically draw a Dark Ritual. And draw Dark Ritual, play Thoughts... Or no, I can't play the Thoughtseize as well. I can play Painter into activate Grindstone for LED. Okay, that's fine. Like, I just kind of tripped over my mana there. Not much to be done. I don't imagine the matchup is, like, horrendous here, since, like, we do have these main deck Leylines. I just, like, did not have persistent mana in either game, despite multiple mulligans trying to get to that. Alright, round 3 opening hand could play a turn 1 Dauthi Voidwalker backed by Grief. But I have nothing to do with this Ancient Tomb mana. I'm gonna mulligan and try to find something better. And I'm met with a single Urza Saga hand that doesn't really go anywhere. Like, I have air quotes mana that I can't use. Rough. Let's go to 5. This hand is not great. I will keep it on 5. I am absolutely keeping 1, 2, 3, 4. The question is, like, what's the final card? Probably not Grief. I can't afford to pitch cards. And then it's like, do I keep the next follow-up threat, or do I keep a mana boost so that I can get to my more expensive cards? I think I keep the mana boost. But I'm not, like, ultimately very happy with this hand. Like, never mind. Hand's a little slow here, but hopefully turn to Dauthi Voidwalker is fast enough. Like, it's crazy that I'm actually saying that. Okay, opponent hits Thugs, and then is going to get to flashback Faithless Looting. I don't think my Dauthi Voidwalker is going to make it to play. I expect that I am going to concede the game by the end of this turn in a lot of worlds. My opponent gets to, like, play the Ox, and the Ox has a draw 3 attached to it. Okay, yeah, there's multiple Narcomoebas in play, and my opponent is going to Cabal Therapy me with double Bridge from Below in graveyard and get a Hogak. Yeah, I think I just concede so they don't know it, that I have Dauthi Voidwalkers in my deck. That's a shame. In good news, I am the Leyline of the Void Dauthi Voidwalker deck versus Dredge, and I know the matchup. Okay. So mulligan to targeted hate cards, like, understood. Beyond that, what do I want? I probably keep my discard to keep the things that answer Dauthi Voidwalker and Leyline of the Void, which probably means I'm ultimately not going to sideboard too much. Wall Ritual feels okay here. Like, Ritual accelerating me to the kill, or accelerating me to hardcast Leyline of the Void seems reasonable. There's some cute fringe scenarios where, like, Plague Engineer can be really good, but sometimes that gets awkward with Bridge from Below. And I'm hoping the graveyard's shut off anyway. This is a race where I have some amount of disruption. And I'm sorry, Nashi. Like, I really want to play you, but this does not seem like the matchup. I'll probably keep one and get the 4 Cabal Rituals in. One Nashi better than one Plague Engineer. One Nashi is more interesting. Sure. I don't have Graveyard Hate here. Given how singularly important that is to this matchup, I think I do go ahead and mulligan. Yeah, I'm a little wanting for mana here, but this is ultimately fine. I'll pitch the Redundant Helm, play a Leyline, and then use Thoughtseize to try to take whatever my opponent has to answer this Leyline from their hand. Chain of Vapor is the answer. Goodbye, Chain of Vapor. Fantastic. And if I can get Dauthi Voidwalker in as well as, like, my insurance policy, I will feel very good about that. I do not believe that I pitched Dauthi Voidwalker to cast Grief this turn. That doesn't really feel important to me, as things stand right now. That's fine. I can take my 1 damage, and then we're just hoping to top deck any land to put this in play. All right, I'll take the 2. There's a Painter. Everything's black. Grief can pitch Helm of Obedience if I find myself in a weird world where that seems correct to do. Hoping for a black land for Dauthi Voidwalker. Okay, opponent is just, like, absolutely going nuts here in terms of just trying to get the aggro damage in. Like, I do have an Ancient Tomb as my mana source, so, like, I totally respect them for doing that. Like, play to your outs. Thoughtseize. I don't really want to lose life here. I think I'll Grief and pitch a Thoughtseize. Do I do it now? Sure. All right, pitch Thoughtseize. And let's rip the Breakthrough from my opponent's hand. Both those cards are decisively medium here. Like, the LED doesn't do a ton without access to the graveyard. Yeah, an opponent is literally junking LED for a single point of damage here. I'll take my 3, go to 10. Just need any mana source. A mana source. All right, there's a Helm. I just activate that next turn, assuming opponent doesn't draw exactly Chain of Vapor. Okay. That tells me opponent does not have Chain of Vapor in their deck, like a second Chain of Vapor in their deck, at least in their current boarding configuration. Okay, seeing how that game played out, I don't think I want Cabal rituals anymore. I think I want things to answer creatures once Leyline is in play. I think I'm going to play Plague Engineer, trim Nashi, play 2 Sudden Edict. There's also a world where I could Pithing Needle. To stop discard. Okay, this hand doesn't really do anything. Yeah, absolutely keep this. What goes back? Like, do I just throw back Thoughtseize and try to just paint or grindstone my opponent, assuming they answer my Leyline? If they answer my Leyline, a lot of times they can do it before I get to Thoughtseize mana. Yeah, I'm gonna pitch the Thoughtseize. All right, there's my Leyline, and now we're racing. All right, yeah, you can absolutely Cabal Therapy me. You have a lot of things you can name. They named Thoughtseize, which I threw back. I love it. There's another Leyline. Okay. Since my opponent has discard in their deck, I think I'm just gonna throw it all on the table here. There's a Grindstone. There's a Painter. Everything's black. I will need to top deck a mana source in order to get a kill. Let's see what my opponent has. Serenity. Oh my god. Okay. If I top deck a mana source, I win. Top decked a mana source. Actually, do I do this in my opponent's upkeep? No, because it opens up some like Chain of Vapor type stuff. All right. Dark Ritual, Grindstone, target you. I accept all of my things being destroyed, because all of your things are being destroyed. I will also poke you with Painter. It's a love tap. Okay. Got the match there. So we're 2-1. Hey folks, I hope you're enjoying the show. If you are, please consider doing something to support me. You can do plenty of things for free without using any money, like liking and commenting on the video or subscribing to the channel. Those sorts of things support me, and if you're in a position that you can support me financially, you can do so by doing a donation deck list, becoming a YouTube member, or following me on Patreon. All right, that's the plug. Back to the magic. All right, round 4 opening hand is a pretty good Urza's Saga based hand, and I can even use this Lotus Petal to Thoughtseize on turn 1 if I'd like. I'm going to keep the hand, and I'm going to think about whether or not I want to Lotus Petal Thoughtseize. I think I do. All right, Lotus Petal, Thoughtseize you, Mana Bond, and Exploration. Fuck. I guess I'm taking the Mana Bond. I can't let my opponent get all of those things in play at the same time. Alright. So, here's the $1,000,000 question. Do I just Needle the Maze of Ith, or do I Needle Wasteland? And I do the Maze of Ith. That decision can come back to bite me. Wasteland is, like, in my opponent's deck as a 4-of. It's very important to their deck. But I am worried about my opponent, like, doing a maze and then copying a maze and just totally shutting down my game plan here. That's, like, a thing that is relatively likely to happen. I think I just have to say no to that. Okay, do you have, like, another Exploration or Mana Bond on top of that? This is, like, awkward. Like, I can Grief, but if my opponent preemptively fetched, they could have been... playing around like an opposition agent. Or no, they saw the Thoughtseize. I don't think I Grief. Like I think there's a lot of worlds where I end up just casting one or both of these cards later as a game drags on very long. Or my opponent can just like play a Dark Depths here and it's like fucking whatever, man. Alright, Thespian Stage is copying Urza's Saga. Absolutely. Okay, yeah, you're at least going to put that into play, even if you can't really use it for the sake of, like, prop rotating it out later. All right, there's a Lotus Petal. All right, so I'll go ahead and activate this. Am I just getting Shadow Spear? Or am I getting half my combo? I think I'm getting half my combo. All right, I'll go Swamp, play Lotus Petal, turn it into a 5/5, bash for 5. I'm not going to Grief now, again, because there's, like, worlds where I just hard cast that next turn. The Tabernacle has arrived. Forget the hard casting things plan, by the way. That's probably gone for a while. Alright, there is a crop rotation. Just Merit Lodge time? It is Wasteland time. Okay, so opponent is not trying to just turbo this game out. Alright, I pay for one of these, I get in 4 damage. I pay for 2, I get in more than that. Alright. Prevent. Drink these. Prevent. Looking to just draw a mana source. Hell yeah. Alright. Swing in for 8. Oh, there's more. There's a Boseiju on top of that. Yes, I will use this ability. Grab a Swamp. I only get 3 damage there, unfortunately. Hand's a little awkward now. I could try to Grief. Or no, my opponent has 0 cards. JK, I give up on the Grief. Current situation is not favoring me. Alright, how much did you hit? Oh, that's honestly not that bad. Like, my opponent can play both of those immediately. They can take a redraw off the Peatland. They'll probably just make a token. Okay, they're just going to copy. Alright, so in case you don't know how this works, this now has the ability to make Saga tokens, but it's not going to continue to tick up anymore. It has lost that ability. So my opponent can just make Urza Saga tokens each turn. If this is the case, this construct is not getting there anymore. That said, I still think I pay for it this turn. Yeah. Put my opponent to 7. But I think I'm donezo this game. Okay, there's a just cycle. Alright, Winding Way is bad for me. Okay, that's a Field of the Dead. I think at this point I'm probably far enough gone that I am going to lose, but I can still play towards winning in other ways. I think my opponent should have played Yavimaya to start turning these into actual mana sources and get tokens, but it probably doesn't matter regardless. I think I'm just going to let this go. Alright. Life's bad. I'm going to... This can maybe soak up a couple points of damage. By a couple, I mean literally 2. But I, am not going to need cards in play for Grief, for example. So, it's probably whatever. Alright. Life's bad. I will take my 2 life. I'm just looking to top deck a win. Just a combo kill of some kind. Nope. All these cards can tap for black. I'll play out a Grief just for the sake of doing it. Okay, my opponent's just making a construct in response. That's fine. Yep, you've got a Stomping Ground. And now I'm just hoping to draw a Painter. 2 mana Painter, 3 mana Grindstone activate, and hope opponent doesn't have Boseiju. I think I pretty much am dead to my opponent finding a life from the loam, though. They get just so many relevant things, most especially, getting Boseiju back is horrific. Okay, there's multiple life from the loams in Graveyard now. So I think this turn is my last window to realistically do anything. Absolutely disgusting. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you can take your extra thing. This is where I top deck a Painter for the win! And the crowd cheers. Come on, Painter. That's a Dark Ritual. With that, I am stone cold dead. Let's move on. As far as sideboarding goes, I can play some Sudden Edicts for Merit Lodge. As well, my opponent chose to play that game in a long, grindy way. I also think they could have crop rotationed for Dark Depths and just killed me that way, and that would have worked too. My discard isn't exactly great versus them. Probably get rid of Grief. I don't really want a 2-for-1 myself to attempt discard, especially when I can't take important cards like Boseiju. Then from there, do I want to get rid of Thoughtseize? I'd probably play Thoughtseize on the play. I might think about just playing some Cabal Rituals on the draw. Okay. This is a hand that's going to be bad versus Wasteland, but otherwise has a very fast combo. Thoughtseize is super awkward. Or no, I can pedal for it. Alright, I guess I keep this. I don't think this is a mulligan to Leyline matchup. I'm just throwing that out there now. See what multiple collector oops. What the fuck? God damn it. And Wasteland Life from the Loam. Absolutely fuck me. God. Disgruntled fill noises. Absolutely fucking disgruntled fill noises. Um. Uh, okay. Oh, that's cool. That's like totally fine, right? Okay. That's a respectable top deck. So I can Thoughtseize, take the second Collector Roof, Void Swamp this turn, bash in for 2. My opponent has, like, Life from the Loam Wasteland lock. Oh god. That's a lot of hits. Tabernacle Boseiju. Yeah, I'll save my painter. It's so hard for me to win this game. I will play on for a couple of turns. I'm not just gonna play the Urza Saga into immediate wasteland though. Uh, okay. Like what am I supposed to do against like double collector oof wasteland life from the loam exploration start? That's so much stuff, especially with this Boseiju now. I don't know what to do. I think the answer is just like move on to the next fucking round, Phil. Yeah, it's fine. There's like 5% of the time I win that by drawing exactly perfectly, but I think my opponent has played well enough this round that I'm not wiggling out of this. Okay, I'm gonna keep my opening hand here. I have 3 stable lands working towards a Helm kill. I start with a Leyline in play, and I also have a Thoughtseize to bridge the gap. I'm very happy with this hand. All right, here we go. Let's do it. Okay. Elves? Let's find out. Aiga. Doing the land thing again? Green Sun. Ooh, we might be playing against something like Applejacks, actually. Which is an orcish lumberjack, like Nick Fit kind of style deck. That just, like, wants big mana. Let's play this swamp. And let's see what's going on over there. Scred Cabal Therapy? Ah. Yeah, feels Nick Fit-y. I think I just take the Cabal Therapy. It doesn't go to their graveyard since I have a Leyline of the Void, so they can't just, like, flash it back. And this just protects my Helm of Obedience. I think I'm pretty likely to just, like, play Dark Ritual and then play out Helm of Obedience rather than waiting another turn. I think. Legit no idea how exactly my opponent's Scred deck is built. This is not a common Legacy deck. Oh, you know, actually, just that's cool too. So there's Dark Ritual, 4 mana Helm. Still got 1 mana up to activate it. I will go to my opponent's turn in case there's some sort of Assassin's Trophy type card. And let's see if they're dead. They're showing me their whole deck, though, which is super cool. Again, like, please concede to your opponent doing that combo rather than letting this happen. Okay. So there is Assassin's Trophy, Abrupt Decay, Pernicious Deed that I care about. Pan Glacial Worm? Are you fucking serious? Dr. Von Lazy. Absolute fist bump there. Dead of Winter. What is this? Oh, that's a Grist. Okay, sure. Cleansing Wildfire? Yeah, that... Wow. Opponent's list is neat. Okay, so what am I sideboarding against this? Like, Torpor Orbs are definitely okay. Edicts are sometimes good. Plague Engineers are sometimes good. Probably don't need Cabal Ritual. Probably save Pithing Needle for Grist. So I think I want to sideboard Grief out. I'm just not sure what comes in. I don't know, maybe I don't sideboard Grief out. Maybe I just, like, represent the game 1 deck. Like, my opponent... Okay. Keep? Just, like, do this thing? Opponent could randomly have a Scred and fuck with that, but... Okay, you know what? I think this hand is a mulligan. I'm gonna fucking keep it. Because I haven't gotten to do a Nashi thing this entire league, and I would like to at least put that card in play. Otherwise, I won't feel justified, like, using it in the thumbnail. I swear, if you blind named Nashi Moonsage's Scion, I would concede the whole match. Alright, opponent named Helm of Obedience. I don't really think is a good name without me having the, like, Leyline in play innately. But to be fair, opponent didn't see very much of my deck, so like they may have just like no idea what to name. Always. Okay. So cast a Grief, itching a Nashi. And let's try to pick apart whatever in my opponent's hand can kill or answer a Nashi. Unfortunately, my opponent has two things. They have a snow land. They do have a snow land. Unfortunate. Maybe I just take my opponent's threat. Just leave them with this stuff. Yeah. Taking one of those cards doesn't put me in a super amazing position. Alright, so let's Dark Writ into one of these Nashi. And then, like, opponent can kill that. I can draw a land for Dauthi Voidwalker. Opponent can kill that. And then, like, I'll play another Nashi at some point. I'll just kind of hope that they just, like, draw clunky pieces of their deck like Nick Fit style decks often do. So there's the Grove. And there's the Abrupt Decay. Alright, my plan of draw land has worked. We're going to try to run back the same plan next turn as well, if at all possible. Okay, there's the land. I imagine we're going to see the immediate Scred, given how opponent has played up to this point. Ooh, opponent's got something else, too. A Green Sun. Okay, so they know about my other Nashi, but this is going to let me play out a Helm of Obedience, which is pretty legit. I'll absolutely use this ability. Grab a couple swamps. And at this point, I'm not sure who's favored. Because, like, my opponent has big top decks like Green Sun, but my Leyline or Dauthi Voidwalker is just a huge top deck for me. Painter's not bad either. I'm just going to take the card that my opponent knows about, because, like, they have Cabal Therapies in their deck, though. And we'll see what big bullshit they have. Yeah, a Huntmaster is totally reasonable. Alright, it's been a hot minute since I've actually read this. When it transforms into it, it deals 2 damage to target opponent and 2 damage up to 1 target creature. Okay. 2 damage, so that kills a Nashi. That doesn't actually kill a Painter. That's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and play out a Painter. Everything's black. There are worlds where I can consider just straight up activating a Helm of Obedience on my opponent. Questing Beast. Okay. That's a lot of power. Okay. I think I want to just be able to top deck a win. Let's soak up some damage and take 6. That's okay. Hey, a win! Alright, there's a Grindstone. And there's an activation. And that is going to be the match and a 3-2 finish in this league. Overall thoughts on the deck list. Very fun, a little clunky. I feel like the deck needs a couple more lands than 16. I mulliganed a lot of lands due to awkward mana. I don't know that you need a ton more, but I feel like I'd be more comfortable, like, maybe cutting 1 Lion's Eye Diamond for a land and cutting 1 Nashi or Grief for another land. I just feel like I would be more comfortable at that. I get wanting to have, like, a decent amount of gas, but I didn't like the number of lands that I had. I can't really evaluate Nashi from the league that I played. Conceptually, I like it. In practice, I ended up boarding it out a lot. I think it's reasonable. I'm guessing it's as good as Opposition Agent is, and it just, like, did not come up this league. Like, c'est la vie, so it goes. Like, absolutely would play the card again to better evaluate how it fares in Legacy. Like, there's a lot of removal in the format, and, like, as opposed to something like Opposition Agent, it's a little awkward that this is black, right? Like, especially when you do have, like, actual colorless lands in your deck. Like, that definitely matters. As far as the sideboard goes, Cabal Ritual, like, was boarded in a couple of times. I don't think I ever drew it. If I was playing against lands, I would, like, really like the Opposition Agents that I was theoretically talking about. But, like, the cards that were in my sideboard were absolutely reasonable. This deck gets a thumbs up from me. I feel like there's tweaking that can be done to make it better. But, like, as far as, like, a 2-card Monty deck, like, a deck that has multiple different 2-card combos in it, like, this one feels pretty good. I enjoyed playing this a lot, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you did, throw me a like or a comment on your way out. It helps out a lot. And if you have a sweet deck that you want to get featured on the channel, information for that is available in the video description. Have a great rest of the day. See ya.